We're good. We're on. We'll open the meeting up.
You should.
Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Grace. Second from Doug. Any questions on it? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Minutes from our last meeting, March 6th.
I'll move.
Okay. Olson.
I'll second.
Yeah, second by Tracy. If everybody read them, did it look right? I read them, it looked all right, so. All those in favor then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Public comment. Do we have any public comment? There's a public hearing that you're here for? Are you here for the public hearing or?
I'm sorry. Yeah, well, we're here. I'm on the agenda. Mike Durham, the rezone.
Okay, so you're for that. You're not just for general.
Right. Yep.
All right, so there's none. Okay. No other supervisor is here. We're good. So we can have forestry then.
I guess we could probably go right into closed session. Sage Trail negotiation. It should be pretty short, but
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's get all this done ahead of time. Do we have that? Is that the 918-1E, Malia, the first one?
Yes.
Okay.
Negotiation, bargaining.
All right. So I will need a motion to go in.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Tracy.
okay.
Okay, I'll go Doug, and that is for statute 19.851E. We'll have, Ethan, 2 minutes. All those in
Aye.
favor, say aye.
Aye. Is it all together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
So we'll let a few walk back in, but then so we should just move this to the general government. Move it or recommendation to the general government before it goes to the full board. Is that how we have to move them?
Yes, either way is fine. This committee is moving it along.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we can sign it with a recommendation that it goes to the,
Full board, but takes a pit stop at Gen Gov.
I would say we should send it to Gen Gov right away first, because it's
Okay.
a few months out, so they got plenty of time to do it. So I would entertain a motion to move this to Gen Gov.
So moved.
Okay, Brad, is there a second? Second from Doug.
Really?
All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, so it goes to Gen Gov next and with recommendation.
Sounds good.
If nothing else,
You know,
get everybody to sign it.
yeah, and I know a big reason too, their budget cycles flopping over, so they're
Yep.
trying to lock up some of the available funding, so we didn't lose the project loan money.
Sure.
If some other counties that are able to apply for that. So,
Okay,
do you know, does anybody know when the next
budget cycle?
or the
Gen Gov?
the Gen Gov?
Oh.
is?
Well, next week. Next week.
Next week.
I just got time to make it on there.
It goes out today.
It was out today, so we made it.
Awesome.
Woo.
All right.
Put it on there, isn't it?
I'm thinking that we're the rain today, kind of here, but we're really.
That it, Kim?
Did you know the other? No, that should cover, that covers both of them. Yes. Yeah, that covers both. Yep, you're
Right.
good.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. So about 15 minutes. Do you want to read tax deed one?
Oh, before we start? Sure.
Because we can't start till 9:30 on the other one.
Sure. Amanda Nissen just asked me to share with the committee that, in the past, she would usually provide a list, but in the last year or two, the law has been changed. And so while waiting, for legal opinions from the state, apparently they're still waiting to see what will happen again. And, I'm sorry, I'm just reading basically what recently a bill was passed that clarified and cleaned up some of the issues. We're looking at starting this fall with the tax deed process again. We have been working and notifying people with delinquent taxes of this, so we currently don't have a list of properties that may be in the process, and most of them they're finding are paying before the tax delinquent process starts. So she asked me to notify the committee that they're still working on moving forward with the starting of the foreclosure process in 2024. They will still be working with Malia on updates to the law and can meet with the committee prior to starting to go over the list in detail.
For the list. Okay.
Yes. And actually, just, she was unable to be here today and asked if you want to discuss it more to place it on the May agenda. So sorry for all of the.
No, I mean, I just want, if there's 100 on there, 10 or
Yeah,
something.
no, it's
So
like there's very few because
So
of the
it's not too
changes to
bad,
the
yeah.
law. And I'm not, I mean,
it's been like 2 years, hasn't it? Yeah, it's been
I'm
dragging.
not extremely familiar with the legal changes to
Yeah.
the tax deed process. So I don't know if Malia wanted to add anything to that.
Still a mess, isn't it?
It's a mess, but there's legislative fixes that are in the works.
Better
There.
maybe get done.
Right.
Okay. So I don't think we need a May.
Okay,
I don't think we need her back in May yet. That'd be too soon, wouldn't it?
it sounds like it, if, it would just be more if you wanted to have a conversation with Amanda about the process, but perhaps just looking at it more this summer, if we start to get some properties on there. That
Or
makes
when it
sense.
actually the changes, so it'd probably be like July
Yeah, perhaps.
for the, for their budget, the state budget cycle. Okay. All right. That number 9 is good. Number 8, the Department of Preservation Plan. Is there quite a lot to that? Not too bad.
Yeah.
Good, let's do that one.
Good morning, everybody.
It's just not.
So just as a review for those that don't know about the Farmland Preservation Program, Farmland Preservation Program is made available by the Department of Ag, Trade and Consumer Protection. It's a program that offers tax incentive, income tax incentive credits to landowners who voluntarily participate. And they can participate through farmland preservation zoning or contract agreements that last for 10 years. And in that 10 years, they're basically giving up their development rights for the duration of the contract. And the purpose of the program is to curb development and preserve rural lands. So that program is made available by a farmland preservation plan, a county plan, and we're in the process of updating that right now, as some of you know. These farmland preservation plans are required to be updated every 10 years. The last update was in 2014. And myself, Tim Anderson, our county planner, and staff from West Central Regional Planning Commission are working on completing that update. And we need to have that complete by December 31st of this year, okay? We did secure grant funding to cover some of the contracted services costs associated with our plan update. And so that'll cover some of the costs of West Central Regional Planning on this project. Our progress to date so far, we've contracted regional planning. We've developed a scope of work, and we're well on our way with that scope of work. We've had a notification process and a public input opportunities for towns and other agricultural stakeholders, ag business, ag producers, and so forth. We held stakeholder meetings the end of January for local government officials, decision makers, town reps, and again, members of the ag community. With the help of Regional Planning Commission, we've developed a land evaluation site assessment tool. And that tool basically identifies the suitability of agricultural lands to be preserved. Okay, so it takes in land capability class, other land features, zoning, etc. So there's lots of variables that go into this model: proximity to municipalities, and contiguous acres of row crop, things like that. So we'll use that model to identify the area for farmland preservation. I should mention too that designation, that farmland preservation area in itself does not have any land use restrictions or development restrictions. Okay, it's just basically a spatial reference area on the map identifying that these lands are suitable for preservation.
Is that, just to slow it down, but that's when we go on Beacon now.
Yeah.
They changed that,
That's
the
the-
same plan, because if everything's green, the whole county's green.
Yep. Yep.
That's a plant, not the actual preservation. So
Correct.
people would know that. Okay.
That's the area designated for farmland preservation area in our last 2014 update.
Okay.
Okay. And again, it doesn't have any land use or development restrictions. We had stakeholder help with developing or refining that LISA model. Okay, we took input from the stakeholder groups to help develop that. Currently, the plan is in draft form, so the LISA model is nearly complete, and West Central Regional Planning is going through some of the trends, data, census of ag data, and working on the draft plan itself. Draft plan is on track to be completed this summer, summer of 2024, and we'll be expecting a review period to follow with this committee on a public hearing sometime probably around August, and then to county board approval September or October. It's kind of what we're thinking as far as a timeline from here. And one of the goals and objectives of this particular plan update was to really get out and notify towns and other stakeholder groups of the opportunity of this program. And we've already done that. We actually met with the town of Lorraine last week and shared with them the tools within the program to preserve ag lands and how, you know, they could proceed if they chose to develop an ag enterprise area or implement some of the other tools for farmland preservation. So any questions?
Is there any acre size or anything? I mean, can somebody do it on just 10 acres? Do they have to have 40? Do you have to have 100?
Yeah, it's minimal acres really for a contract. The bigger thing is the majority to be eligible in the program, they need to have farm income. And there's a eligibility requirement of $6,000 annually of gross farm income or 18,000 over
Okay.
a 3-year period. So that's kind of more so than, and I think it's, I'm trying to remember now, but I think it's maybe 15 or 20 acres.
But,
So
okay, how about the cost? What does it cost someone? Say I've got a 40 acres and I want to do it. What's it gonna cost me to put it in?
sure.
Do I have to come in and rezone?
You would not need to rezone if you were within an ag enterprise area and participated through a contract agreement.
Okay, so it wouldn't cost you the $800 and have a public hearing and all that to put your land in it. Okay.
But if someone wanted to participate through zoning and they were not in a farmland preservation zoning district, they would have to.
Then they would.
They would have to, and that parcel or those parcels would need to be within the farmland preservation area that this plan designates to.
Okay.
So zoning is only one tool, and
Yep.
and to participate, you don't need to be farmland preservation zoning or rezone to participate, as long as you're in that ag enterprise area.
Okay.
And that's a petition to the Department of Ag to make that designation by ag producers or large landowners. So that's kind of a grassroots, ground up sort of petition to the state for that designation.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
When we go back to, you said that they have to make so much money
Mhm.
and who has to make that money? I'll use my example. I have 30 acres. I rent it out. I get a minimal amount. I mean, not into your thousands if you're talking. And the rent, the person you rent it to, is it his income that he made off of that 40 or 30 or how does that?
Sure. So your renter would be tasked with keeping you eligible within the program. And I believe they would need to demonstrate gross farm income on that property to keep you eligible. And there are compliance requirements to it as well. They would need to have a nutrient management plan and farm the land to meet the tolerable soil erosion levels, just to maintain productivity, that acreage. So they have some requirements to keep, you eligible within the program.
No, that's a good. That rented land could be, okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so but just to kind of a follow-up to Doug's then. If Doug switched renters halfway through the contract, the new renter would have to keep up with those standards too, right?
That's right.
Yep.
Yep. Basically, their tasks would being the landowner eligible for the program credits.
Okay, and you'll probably get us a draft so we can read through this after,
Yep.
but it's a little closer.
That'll be the next thing. We could probably do another update if you wanted to, but I would expect that before too long, we'd have this thing in draft form that you can certainly.
We could sit down, go through and then ask a lot more questions, I bet.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Thank you for the update. Yep. 4 minutes. Do we want to take something on or?
As far as the BOA case review,
Yeah, okay.
For the review we can kind of go through those quickly, but are you looking for just the update on like the Blue Rock hearing?
No, that'll be Miss Malia. No, we're looking at the BOA. If there's a lot of, just one thing,
Right,
that's usually how you change your ordinances to
Right.
fit.
right.
So just what is the trend that's coming to the BOA? Is it a lot of setbacks? Is it whatever?
Yeah, do we?
Yeah.
want to do it now?
Yeah, let's do it. We
Yeah,
got a couple minutes.
I'd say the main thing right now is the combination of substandard lots where the property owner owns multiple lots.
Oh,
And
okay.
their 2 or 3 lots combined still don't meet our 1 acre minimum. So that's a variance we've been dealing with the past year. As far, yeah, but we have since, combining those 3 under the same ownership is not creating a new lot, it's just consolidating it. So the main issue is those lot lines,
Percent.
those existing lots for setbacks, but
Okay.
they own all 3. And in the past, we've went through a variance for all those, but all of them have been approved, so it got to the point where it's, kind of
That's.
not needed to go through that process in our minds, so we have, allowed that. I don't know if Malia wants to touch on that at all, but the combination of common ownership lots into one lot that's still less than the acre is being allowed due to that. It's taking 3 non-conforming lots and making one larger, closer to the 1 acre standard lot.
Okay. Without having to go to the BOA.
Correct.
Okay, to save them some headaches, because it's getting that many of them. Okay. Is there anything we have to change in the ordinance wise for that? That could still stay under administration.
There was some
Okay.
administrative discretion there. We did get a legal opinion from council, making sure that we were good to go.
Good to go on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
All right. But otherwise, they haven't been quite as busy, have they, as normal? Okay. Oh. Anyone else? Questions on the BOA? Good. 2 minutes, take 2 breaths. Start a public hearing.
Oh.
Posted up to 9:30, so let's read that in. Let's start there.
Alrighty. Mike and Amanda Durheim request a district change from residential agriculture 5, RA5 to residential R1 for a parcel located at 1113 West Bone Lake Trail in section 18, town 35 north, range 16 west in the town of Georgetown. The parcel number is 026-00763-0000. And it is a 5.76 acre parcel. Before we start, we did receive one comment in opposition that was emailed to the committee members and also handed out prior to the public hearing. I don't know if we wanted to make that an exhibit.
We're gonna refer to it, so we should
Okay.
give it a number, yes.
Would that be exhibit 1?
We probably should start with the towns and that.
Okay.
You know, we'll do that at the end.
All right, sounds good.
We'll do the ones that we got last. Yeah.
All right, the town approved this rezone on January 16th, 2024. We have those meeting minutes confirming that approval. We have the map pulled up with the parcel. The property is located in a highly developed area on the west side of Bone Lake. There is a current dwelling on the property right here. And that dwelling is served by a holding tank. It is accessed off of West Bone Lake Trail. Is right here. You could zoom out just a little bit, Claire. So it's kind of, this property is surrounded by private roads, a little bit further to the south. So West Bone Lake Lane comes in here, and it turns into West Bone Lake Point and then West Bone Lake Trail. So the property is actually surrounded on 3 sides by private roads. The rezone to, or the proposed rezone to residential, does match the surrounding land use. We could pull up the zoning district map on this. If you want to scroll down a little further.
I hate that beacon thing.
Oh, yeah.
You can't find anything.
It's hard to find.
This is our zoning district map. All the yellow is residential or R1. This green shade is RA5. So this property does have some R1 on it, but in order for their proposal, they would have had to rezone to R1. The proposed, or the intent of this rezone is to create 3 lots. So it'd be the original lot, which is on that document provided with the proposed CSM. So the original dwelling would be on 1 lot. This lot would be created to have 1 dwelling, which I believe is for the applicant's father. And then this access or these roads would become an outlot, which would potentially clean up, but would also take work, but that'd be through the land surveyor. To get all these properties would have to, get that agreement for that, for that new house.
The outlet.
Yeah.
Because they are the owners of the outlet now.
So all the access is on, or at least most of it is on their property. They own down to here and then, up to there and then all of West Bone Lake Trail. And the outlot wouldn't be creating access to the lake for anybody. It would just be
Access for
changing
owners.
the access for those owners.
Is there an
Description
agreement
will
now? Do
change.
we know?
What's
Is there an
that?
agreement to those owners to maintain that and all that? Are we gonna make a mess there or not?
I don't know what as far as
Or that-
or maintenance of the road agreement is currently, but I mean, that would be through the surveyor when they come in through the actual subdivision. We would make sure that's all approved before we approve a subdivision.
So we're not creating something that they can deed to the public is what I'm getting down to.
Yeah,
I mean, if they tried to deed it to the town
town.
or somebody, I mean, that's,
The town would have to agree to
the
take.
town would have to.
So I mean, at the end of the day, it's
The
the
owner.
town's
So,
discretion.
no, well, sir, no. Or I'm gonna argue. No, I'm asking questions. No, that would be the owners if it was given over or something. Okay. We'll ask them when they come up.
Yep. So it would change the description of the easement is what it would do. It would say they have access across Outlaw 1 instead of, I don't know, I don't know exactly what
How
it is. It's the 30 feet alongside, you know,
Yeah.
it's probably pretty long, the way it looks.
The way it looks, it's pretty long. Okay, so it won't put us in a jam, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah, so the rezone and the subdivision would be two separate, you know, they have to get the rezone in order to even apply for the subdivision because they can't create another lot on the RA5 because it's only
Okay.
5.76 acres. So I did have that by creating or changing this to residential 1. It's a 1 acre minimum in RA or R1, so they could have created 5 lots at a maximum, but with the way the outlot is, they really only can create, you know, what they have proposed here, which is a 1.98 acre and a 1.75 acre lot, and then that outlot. So it wouldn't be, the possibility of creating 5 more lots really isn't there, even though the acreage would say it's there. But for our subdivision standards, it wouldn't be able to be created.
Okay.
On the actual property, there is no wetland or floodplain. There is the navigable water access on Bone Lake, which would remain on the proposed lot 1 of the CSM, and that new lot would not have access to Bone Lake. It would just be completely surrounded by, or no access to the navigable water. So it would not be increasing any use of the lake.
Okay.
Correct. So we went over, I can pull up the map we had prior to the meeting, just to show Claire, if you could go to the file and the proposed lot layout. So this was a rough sketch supplied by the applicant. This, on the new document we received today, this was lot 1, lot 2, and then the outlot. So that just shows what their intent is for this rezone. And there was a proper class 2 notice sent to the paper prior to this hearing. And as I said, there was 1 comment received in opposition.
1 comment in opposite. Okay, that's the one we just got yesterday.
Yep.
Came
Correct.
through. Okay. Let's go through a little more. We'll see if anybody, are the owners here? Do you want to come up and add anything, or you'd have to come up and say who you are and stuff at the board?
I can do that. It's probably a quick comment.
Sure.
I don't have much to add, really. I think he kind of nailed everything. I mean, my only intention is I'm sorry, my name is Mike Durheim. I'm the owner of this 5.76 acre
Okay.
area. You can see in the proposed CSM that you guys have in front of you, kind of what we're thinking. Really, our only intention here is to be able to build a house in this corner of lot 2, like you can see there. So I guess I wasn't even sure about the outlot stuff they were talking about. I guess there are some easements, as I understand it, for people to have access around there across our property. I'm not sure how that works. I'm not even sure they all necessarily have easements. It's sort of like a historical thing that's been done. But whatever it takes to make sure that that's taken care of is fine with me. If we get to the end of this and I can build that little house in the corner, then that's my only intention here. So whatever it takes to do that is what I'm looking for. This was all provided by Josh Yunker, our surveyor. He said this is the best way to do it, so that's what we got.
Okay.
So
Anybody else have questions? All right, you're good.
Okay.
If anybody else is here to speak on this, are you, sir, here to speak on it?
Well, I live.
Come up though, come up, state your name. And if you're right there, just give us your address or something, or we can see it on the map if it's up.
I'm David Hendrick, and I'm in the pie-shaped wedge at the sort of the apex of the cove.
Okay,
And I'm not opposed or for this, but I don't understand any of the terminology that you've used. You used the word "they," and I didn't know if it was the homeowner or it was the people along the road. There is no agreement to the upkeep of that road. It's done sort of ad hoc. And every year I wonder who I'm gonna have to compensate in the spring for.
Sure.
But can you put the one on that showed the two different color lots?
Right there, yeah.
So this is where the pink tape is currently?
Yeah, roughly, right?
But there's
That's
pink
the
tape in the woods.
Yep.
Okay. And so you anticipate this to be a single lot with the same rules that I have as far as what percentage of the land can bear structure, et cetera, and whatnot? And it isn't like in 3 years, there's gonna be a resort here or a large B and B. And what intention did you have for the back lot?
Okay, you have to ask, we'll ask them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That, but I'm gonna write the questions down that you're asking. So that we
fine
do
with
it.
And then this little strip of land is also yours?
Yep.
Goodness. And this is the access road that we come into. All right. And is it appropriate to ask the board, there's a tin building on that property currently? Can someone explain what the function of that is and what will become of that?
We'll ask him if he has anything there and they will have to meet all them setbacks and everything else,
Sure.
just like a regular 1 acre lot.
Sure. And then you referred to something that sounded as though somehow the ownership or the maintenance or the taxes or whatever on the road would be somehow changed to all of
Each
these.
person would get a interest in it. So if there's 25, you'd have 1/25th interest in the road to maintain it.
Oh.
Something
I
like
did
that.
for my own anyhow. All right. Thank you. I appreciate the.
All right, thank
opportunity.
you.
I just went through this within the last 6 months. And when he writes down outlot 1 and outlot 2, that was done on my mom's property in 2002. And it's the way it was done, then you have an outlot, or we have actually 2 outlots. But it was just changed because my family sold their properties, but I didn't. So the attorney said, what really was, I talked to Steve downstairs, and what was really supposed to be done, that nowadays every lot has a easement on the road as they're sold. But that wasn't done then, so I still own the outlot. And they can use the outlot, but there's no agreement on
No, agreed.
it's done.
So that'd be something in the subdivision part that we would have to do, I think. It wouldn't be in the rezoning part.
No, I don't believe.
So that's what I'm trying to get, that
It's
we don't miss that.
just a verbal agreement on who's gonna do
What?
what,
Yeah,
at what time, and who wants to pay and who doesn't wanna pay.
Thank you, you too.
okay. If you want to come back up, I'm just gonna ask you about, there's a tin building on that or just no building on that?
If I kind of show you if you want to pull up that map again, if it makes sense. So, yeah, so our house then is, right here, as you
Yep.
saw on that map. Right, when we purchased this land originally, the whole intent was to be able to build basically a storage building across
Sure.
that's what's there right now. It's a pretty big storage building because we got a bunch of stuff, but there's really it's just a private storage building for us.
But it's on lot,
It would
proposed
end
lot
up
1,
being
it's on that lot.
Yeah, but it's right here, so it would
Okay.
end up being on lot 1 as.
Okay,
And that's why this all kind of becomes one lot, because I think, according to the surveyor, that, our house is here, the garage is here.
okay. So it's on the same one. All right.
Yep.
Okay. So they would just check to make sure it meets setbacks, so it didn't make it a non-conforming building or something. It isn't 2
Sure.
feet from a lot line or something. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions, anyone? All right, we're good to go then. Thank you.
Yep.
So. And then just the one that was the parcel again for an exhibit, wasn't it? So do we have any other questions? What if not? we can close the public hearing and go into discussion. So if there's any other questions, we will close it and go into what you have for us.
Yeah, so as far as the conclusion, and staff recommendation, changing the zoning of this property to residential 1 or residential is supported by the town of Georgetown. Most of the surrounding lots are used for residential purposes. Rezoning the property complies with the Polk County, comprehensive plan, along with the existing and surrounding land uses. So the staff recommendation would be to recommend approval of the rezone to the Polk County Board.
Okay. So my only question is gonna be is, if I marked mine up a little bit. Those are all lot 1s. Can we get the guy to put lot 5 or 6 on there or something? So, cause right next door to him is the CSM lot 1. We have another lot 1. So in this quarter section, there's a lot of lot 1s.
Yeah.
See, maybe some confusion that way. And then now this fits into our 300-foot too from the water, doesn't it?
This one, part of it does,
Okay.
yeah, so that was that.
That was where that-
Residential slightly came into this
That's
parcel.
300
That would be
feet.
300 feet.
Okay, that's where our 300-foot line was. All right. Then we should just, let's exhibit 1 should be the town of Georgetown. The minutes. We should do both maps. So the colored map should be 2. As we referred to that, the new CSM should be 3. And then the letter to us from Rivness should be exhibit 4. So that we have all that in our file. Okay. And then you have your findings and facts and stuff right there.
Yep, so that's, was through the staff report.
Okay.
There's anything on here that's all that was covered during the staff report.
Okay. So then the only thing is that like ours, even though we can't, that they do something with those outlots at the subdivision time when they come for anything.
Yeah, so when that subdivision comes through, it's gonna have to be, it might be, quite a process to get, because they would still potentially own that outlot, but they're gonna have to get the deed or registered deeds to have all those documents stating that that's the new description for their access to those lots.
Okay.
But that would all be, that's through the subdivision complete.
Through the subdivision part. Okay, so that's after this. They can move forward on that. All right. Anyone? Nothing? Any motion for or against?
Just a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Doug
I'll second it.
and second by Brad. Any other concerns or anything? Hearing none, then all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Goes through.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
It's appropriate to ask, can the email that you received be entered into the domain?
We put that in as exhibit 4, so it is in the,
Where will I find that?
it will be where,
I don't usually get exhibits.
oh, you don't usually get them.
I'm just curious what.
It would be at zoning then.
It'll be scanned in with the application, so that, which will be on our GIS site. You can review all permits on there.
All right.
Or do you want
We
one
can
now?
also provide, yeah.
If it's available,
Give you one right, I'll give you mine.
I don't.
I got one.
But I'm just curious of what other people might have thought.
No, it wasn't real long or anything, but yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
I will take one too, then, if that's, or maybe if I can just read that when we have, just because I'm curious what, I'm concerned about.
Sure. All right. An update,
Yeah, all right. I'll stand up here for this.
sure.
It'll be short and sweet. We just wanted to touch really quickly about our tree sale this year. We transitioned to the online store and it went really, really well. We wanted to thank Buildings and Facilities for allowing us to pilot the ResNexus online store platform. It really went smooth. And to date, there were 296 total orders with 16,927 trees sold.
Ooh.
And 144 ounces of the pollinator seed was also sold. I wanted to make note that we still have some gala apple trees available, and so we're still taking a few orders for those. Our tree pickup day is April 26th, so it'll be a busy time for the team as all the trees come in that week before. And then those cards will go out mailing the clients with pickup information this week. So yeah, moving online was a positive thing. Also in April here, we had a new compliance technician, Dylan Barr, start with the department. So we were excited to have him join the team. And also in April here, we hope to have our full zoning team in place, being the administrative specialist. So that's kind of, I think, a positive thing for Polk County and our zoning team. So that's good. I'm going to be focusing on budget development for 2025 here in the coming months. And so you will stay and get more information about that. And yeah, just moving forward with all the division and focus on customer service. And it's been good. Any questions for me as
I
the,
guess I have one.
Go ahead.
Sarah, could you explain? I'll back up and go back when Jason was here, but with the new hires,
Mhm.
we're gonna have, are they gonna be east and west, or does Logan go out east and west too?
We're gonna have, I think I can let Logan speak to it specifically, but right now we're still identifying how that process is gonna happen. But I think there are definitely going to be areas of concentration for specific technicians. Then everyone will be able to have the compliance element within their position, but the one position will focus a more percentage of his time on compliance. But yeah, there's going to be.
So you're just curious about like the map of who covers what for land use permits?
Well, I guess I can even bring this up with Mo, but in the past, you have, I guess, at that time, maybe you were even on, but Jason used to do the west side, is my understanding.
Right.
Back when I was dealing with issues, then Elizabeth had the east side. And I'm always saying, if you're the zoning, the head of zoning, shouldn't you have two people out there where you're not always tying your time up out in the field, is what I mean?
Yep, and that's what I am looking at. That's my plan, is to do that. So then, and then I can, so the goal right now is to go 3 different areas. And then I would be able to, I wouldn't have a set area, but I would handle, the variances and the committee work or any complex permits that come in that someone wants to, forward up to me. But yeah, so then that'll allow my time, all the, and also policy changes and stuff. I have some stuff I want to look into for that, but I have, due to that reason that you stated, me covering half the county and then also, trying to do all the other stuff.
Be here.
It'd be here, yeah, it is. I realized, from the past when I was a specialist, that it just was like, this is, from the surface, it looks like it's way too much for the zoning administrator to do all that and try to cover his own section for land use permits and sanitary permits.
Or overflow, you do overflow or something.
Yep, so the plan would be I would still do sanitary inspections, but as far as having a set area where all those land use permits come to me is probably going to be phased out, and it will just go to our technicians.
That's good. I think that's the way it should be done.
Streamline that to be more efficient.
Yeah.
All right. We're good.
Yeah.
Sure, but you gotta stay, cause you got 13. No, which one do I read? Is up on?
Review work plan.
Yeah, the work plan. Before the update, yeah. So our work plan, what's, anything huge coming up?
It looked like,
So we don't need a second meeting. I guess we're kind of,
yeah, no, I think
we're sitting
it-
pretty good not having to do that. Oh,
in May there, I think will be another district change. And then there is another one variance request that will come to this committee. And other than,
variance or CUP?
this one is a variance to our subdivision ordinance, and those are heard by the committee specifically, according to council.
Okay,
So those are two things on May. Otherwise, you will have your organizational meeting, I believe, in May as well, depending on,
we're gonna have a special meeting for that, so it's,
I mean, as a committee.
As the.
oh, as the committee,
As
yeah.
committee,
The
you'll
first
elect
committee
your
meeting
chair.
will be, oh, yeah, we'll have to have that, yeah, that'll have to be set up, okay.
we will take a look at fee schedules and, board priorities. It lists annual reports. Sometimes those, yeah, I mean, we can take a look at all of that information.
There
The annual
were, it's the next, yeah, for last year's, we get them in August, yeah, okay. All right. And that's that was on our work plan, wasn't it, though? It's in there, all right.
You want your backseat property update pushed out to July.
I think so. Yeah, that can
Is
get,
there some other sudden change?
Yeah.
Then we'll obviously put it on there.
yeah, because it's pretty much till they change that rule. So the timber sales might be in their fee recommendation, okay. All right, we should be good then, unless something comes up. All right,
Thank you.
now, any updates?
Well, thank you to those of you who came to attempt to listen to the oral ruling on the Wisconsin Realtors case. I do appreciate that. Those of you who are there know that there wasn't a decision given, and I believe it's scheduled now in June. For
When?
another oral in June.
Mid-June.
So there's that, and that I have no other updates on Stow or anything. So that's,
So 90's another 90 added right on.
I don't want there to be an assumption that Judge Tolan doesn't think this case is important. He did have a lot of emergency cases that came through with some timeframes. And so I don't think it's a situation like we're experiencing in other cases. I think that
The other cases.
reason for his inability to complete that, Child welfare cases, mental commitment cases, they take priority over a Realtors Association claim against a county.
Sure. I'm biting my tongue, so I won't say it. Number 13. 14.
To get Sharon back.
I know, we need Sharon back, because
Yeah, there you go.
or do you have a question?
I just got I got a statement before we adjourn. So
There you go.
are we ready to adjourn? Are we there?
We're there, yeah, I
Okay,
did.
so, more than likely in my last environmental services meeting after 8 years, I'm going to strongly consider moving on to a different committee.
Oh,
So not set in stone. But gonna look at moving on. It has been so, if it is my last one, thank you to everybody on this committee. It has been a great ride. I wouldn't have traded it for the world. We'll see. Like I say, it's not set in stone. I got 2 weeks yet. Yeah, we'll see. So if this is it, it has been a tremendous 8 years. I would not have traded it for the world. I think this committee does a lot of great work for the county. And if I do leave, I will truly, truly miss it. So
All right,
with that, motion to adjourn.
Second.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, we're adjourned.